September 27, 1941, 10 o'clock hours. The Oval Office, Washington, D.C. President Roosevelt slams a classified report onto his desk so hard his cigarette holder jumps. The numbers are brutal. Britain has only 6 weeks of food left. U-boats are sinking Allied merchant ships faster than the entire world combined can build them. At the current rate, one new ship takes 230 days from key laying to launch. Admiral Emery Land, head of the Maritime Commission, tells the president straight. Sir, unless we do something insane, the war's over by Christmas. Across the country in San Francisco, a 57-year-old shipbuilding millionaire named Henry J. Kaiser, who has never built a single ocean-going ship in his life, reads the same report and laughs out loud. His secretary thinks he's lost his mind. Kaiser just lights a cigar and says 5 words that will change history. Watch me build them faster. That same afternoon, he wires Washington. Give me the contracts. I'll deliver a ship every 4 days or you don't pay me a dime. In London, Winston Churchill is told about the American madman. He stubs out his cigar and mutters, "Bloody hell." We're saved by a concrete salesman from California. April 13th, 1942, 6 o'clock hours. Richmond, California. The fog is thick enough to chew. On an empty mudflat that smelled like sewage 6 months ago, 30,000 workers, welders, housewives, farmers, even high school kids after class pour through the gates of Henry Kaiser's brand new Richmond shipyard. No, 2. Kaiser has done the unthinkable. He has taken the British emergency design for a simple, ugly cargo ship, the Liberty ship, and turned it upside down. Instead of riveting every plate by hand, he orders everything welded. Instead of building one ship at a time, he builds 7 at once, side by side, like cars on an assembly line. Instead of skilled shipwrights, he hires anyone who can swing a hammer or hold a welding torch. On this morning, the keel of the very first West Coast Liberty ship, SS Robert E. Peary, is laid. Old-school naval architects laugh themselves sick. They predict the welded hulls will crack like eggs in the North Atlantic. Kaiser just grins and hangs a giant stopwatch on the yard's main crane. He tells the press, "Mark my words, gentlemen, that ship will be in the water in less than a week." The workers nicknamed Kaiser's Pirates work 24 hours a day, 3 shifts, floodlights blazing all night. Women welders in overalls and bandanas become front-page stars. A sign over the gate reads, "Every rivet is a bullet in Hitler's heart." By the 4th day, the hull is fully plated. By the 6th day, engines are swinging in on cranes. On the 7th day, exactly 7 days, 14 hours. And 30 minutes after the first plate was laid, Kaiser himself cracks a bottle of champagne against the bow. The SS Robert E. Peary slides down the ways in front of a stunned crowd of reporters and admirals. One British liaison officer drops his pipe. A U.S. Navy captain is heard to whisper, "My God, they actually did it." The stopwatch stops at 4 days, 15 hours and 25 minutes from keel to launch, a record that will never be broken. The laughter stops. The panic begins, but this time it's in Berlin. November 14th, 1943, 9 o'clock hours. Carnival U-boat headquarters, Lorient, France. Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz stares at a map covered in red pins. Every Allied merchant ship sunk since September. The pins are fewer every week. His staff officer, Corvette and Caping Gunter Hessler, lays the latest intelligence report on the desk like a death certificate. Main Admiral. The Americans launched 19 new Liberty ships yesterday. 19. In 1 day. Across all German shipyards, we are completing 1 U-boat every 5 days. Dönitz's face turns the color of wet ash. He had been promised that the tonnage war would starve Britain by Christmas 1943. Instead, the tonnage curve has flipped completely. For every merchant ship, a wolf pack sinks now. 3 more slide down American ways before the wreckage cools. On the wall hangs a photograph of the SS Robert E. Peary launching in 4 days. Dönitz had dismissed it as propaganda. Now there are 18 Kaiser yards, plus dozens more traditional yards, all using his methods. The monthly delivery rate has gone from 60 ships to over 140, and still climbing. Hessler quietly adds the final number, at the current rate. By July 1944, the Allies will have more tonnage afloat than they started the war with. The blockade is broken. Permanently. Dönitz sits down heavily. He does not scream, simply takes off his cap, places it on the desk, and says the words no German admiral has ever spoken. "Gentlemen, the U-boat war is over." That same week, Kaiser wires Roosevelt a single sentence. "Mr. President, you can stop worrying about ships. Worry about where to park them all in the Richmond yards." The workers paint a new slogan on every Liberty bow: "Built in California, sunk by Germany." July 4th, 1944, 12 o'clock hours sharp. 18 shipyards from Maine to Oregon coordinate by radio. 18 Liberty ships launch at the exact same second, one every 4 minutes after that for the rest of the day. By sunset, 51 brand new ships are in the water, all built in an average of 8 days from keel to launch. The final wartime tally will reach an insane 2,710 Liberty ships, plus hundreds of faster Victory ships that follow the same Kaiser playbook. Out in the Atlantic, U-boat commanders receive their last desperate order: attack the shipyards themselves if you have to. None ever get within 3,000 miles of California. In the Pacific, the flood becomes a tidal wave. Every beachhead from Saipan to Okinawa is supplied by an endless parade of gray holes that simply cannot be stopped. General Douglas MacArthur steps onto Leyte in October 1944 and looks at the horizon packed with Liberty ships as far as the eye can see. He turns to an aide and says, "This is the real reason we're winning. Henry Kaiser just drowned the Japanese Empire." On August 14th, 1945, the day before Japan surrenders, the last Liberty ship, SS Albert M. Bow, slides down the ways at Richmond Yard No. 2. The workers don't cheer. They just stand in silence, exhausted, paint-spattered, and proud. Behind them, the giant stopwatch that started it all is finally taken down. It reads, "Average build time across all yards in 1,942 days. Kaiser's personal best still stands at 4 days, 15.5 hours. Years later. A reporter asks Henry Kaiser how a man who had never built an ocean ship before the war managed to outproduce the entire Axis combined. Kaiser lights his cigar, grins, and answers in 10 words. "I just asked people what was impossible, and did it anyway." The ugly, simple, mass-produced Liberty ship, mocked by admirals and experts alike, carried more tonnage than all the grand battleships in history combined. It fed Britain. It armed Russia. It supplied every island-hopping campaign in the Pacific. And it did it so fast that no submarine, no bomber, no blockade could ever catch up. The war at sea was decided not by admirals in gilded uniforms, but by welders' torches burning through the night in California mud, and by one stubborn civilian who refused to accept the word impossible, and